Thank you for watching another episode of Scandal in Your Life. My name is Scandal, and since you just let me into your life, I'm going to let you into a little bit of mine. Today, I'm going to talk about going to high school in the early 90s in Brooklyn. So, the day before, my first day of high school, mind you, this is Brooklyn in the early 90s. So, people had the Gumbies and all this other stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I had the Gumby haircut. I'm in Brooklyn. Everyone is dyeing their hair burgundy or just the tips burgundy. I'm half Jamaican, so I guess it's in my DNA. And I'm like, you know what? I dyed my hair burgundy at the tip. It's like, all right, cool. And then I'm like, you know what? To even kill him even more, I did an S curl. So now I think it's gonna be wavy with burgundy on the tip right there. Killing my first day of high school, Transit Tech High School. So the night before that, I'm dating this girl on Ralph Avenue. She puts an S curl in my hair. She leaves it in there, longer than she should. I don't know better. She doesn't know better. She should know better. I figured she's a female. She would know. And when they wash it out, my hair is flopped over like this. It's straight. It's super straight. So say that to say that my first day of high school, I ended up with a light Caesar with a bunch of design parts in it. That's how that was for me. School was all right. It's Brooklyn, so a bunch of knuckleheads. And Transit Tech High School was a school that at one point was all males. When I got there, they had females in there, but it'd be a class of say 30 kids and 28 of guys, 2 girls. It wasn't fun. Everybody's vying for the attention of these females, and some of these females look like us. I wasn't in the mood. So, I ended up cutting school and going to Maxwell, which was like the exact opposite high school on Liberty Avenue, where I met my daughter's mother, May she rest in peace. Um, so Transit Tech was an alright school. It was just wild. They had freshman day where the freshmen were supposed to get beat up, but I was just wild enough where I never had any problems in there, which is good for me, because if you weren't somebody, you were gonna get it. You had to do something. They had to know that you got busy at some point or whatever. But so I would go there, and then the first year was all right. They had like shop class there where you sit there and you would weld. They had real shop classes back then. The girls had economics, they'd cook and all that. Well, I don't want to say the girls, but they had economics and they had the welding classes. This is school the way it should have been, with a lot of stuff that they don't have now. Like I said, this is pre-metal detectors, so it was all kind of weapons in school. Like I had a friend of mine that came from Thomas Jefferson High School. We call it Jeff. He came into my math class and he had a 25, and he sneaks into my classroom. He sees me. He's like, "Yo, son, what's good?" Comes into class and he sits next to me. He's like, "Yo, I pulls out his gun. He's like, "Yo, I should pop your teacher, right?" Um, you can't tell me stuff like that, especially if we not cool. I'm like, "Yeah, do what you got to do." We'll leave that for another story. Nothing happened, but don't tell me you're gonna do something, and I'll put you to the test. Go, feel free, do what you want to do. I want to watch. A lot of people do a lot of this, but nothing happened. Anyways, that's the kind of high school it was. People from other schools would sneak into our high school. We would sneak into other high schools. At that point, we had like East New York against Brownsville and Bed-Stuy. They would fight in the hallways, and it would be fun swinging book bags, throwing people around. When I left, though, I heard people were getting shot. It was a little crazy. Transit Tech was also a school where when you walked into the school, if it was your birthday, they had a board there and it had your name on it and it said happy birthday. That's not really a smart thing to do in a high school with a bunch of guys because, birthday punches. So I'm in my one of my classes. I think it was a art class or some class I was having, and my book bag is in the other end of the room. I'm over here with the fellas. We're talking. We not doing work like we should have been doing, and somebody just looks at me and is like, "Yo, my name is Ron." They're like, "It's Ron, right?" And they said my last name. I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yo, it's your birthday today, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And then they jump, "Oh, birthday punches!" So they start giving me birthday punches, and they're hitting me, and I start hitting back really, really hard. Like every time they hit me, I'm boom, boom. I'm hitting them harder than they expected. So some of them don't like that. So then it's got my man Chris. I hit him hard, boom, boom. He just steps back and is like, spits out a razor, and he tries to come at me. So now I gotta push him to the side, and I gotta run to my book bag, and I had a fold out saw. So when I got the saw, it's like, okay, now let's play. So now he wants to calm down. Now it's a different story. Now, oh, I figured you got it. And that's what that was. It shouldn't have been that, but that's the kind of high school it was. Like if you back down, you're gonna get got. You gotta stand your grounds. Like kid tried to snatch my a book one time. Had to run around, chase around in the hallway, kick him in his back. After that, we were friends again. This is also a school that's in East New York. So, going to the school in the morning time, we'd have to take the A train, A to C. I think it was the A train or the C, either way. And the train, if you're not somebody, the train is a rough place for you because you're gonna get got like on the way to school. And I remember one time I was cut school all the time. This unfortunately, they ended up kicking me out, but that's my fault. So mind you, I was in a group home at the time. So parents, when you put your kids in a group home, you think you're gonna help them. You're not helping them. Like kids that go to a group home because of court system there is one thing, life happens. But when your parents put your kids in a group home, you got to realize you're not making it any better for them. You're actually going to make them worse because they're going to meet other people that are like-minded as they are, and they're going to run wild. Like I was in a group home when I was with my father, because I was a runaway. I ran away at 15. But when I was with my father, there was I was kind of on a leash. Like, all right, I can only do but so much. When I ended up in a group home, I had free reign to do what I want. And it was just it. So going to school, not going to school, what are you gonna do? I go to school once a month, get my bus pass after a while. I got kicked out of school. I didn't even know I got kicked out. So that I got my GED afterwards. But don't put your kids in a group home if you don't have to. Give them some kind of therapy. Like me, like I said, I ran away from home issues. That's a whole other story. I'll tell you another time. But Transit Tech, and ironically, it's a school that teaches you how to work on trains and how to drive trains, and in the future, that would have benefited me. But it is what it is. I am where I am now, and it's just what it is. Don't go to those kind of high schools if you can help it. If you go, they had another school in Brooklyn called Clara Barton, mostly females, so all the guys that hang out over there. Or some Bayesian kids threw a teacher out the window at one point. They had Prospect Heights, which they used to call Prostitute Heights. It was like Brooklyn had a lot of wild schools. And like I said, Maxwell High School was mostly a female school. We'd hang out over there, meet all the girls over there, and that was pretty much my high school experience because I was all right. I had fun in the lunchroom. We're rapping, we're having our fun, we're doing what we got to do. Little fights here and there, little skirmishes, little scuffles. Although when I left, I heard things got violent. People start shooting each other. The same friends that were having fun and running around the hallway end up killing each other. But that's just Brooklyn. Um, they put me out. That's my fault. I was cut in school, and I'm in a group home, like I said, so I have no structure, no guidance. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna tell me in a group home? You're a counselor. You can't touch me. I'm 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 in my late teens. I can do whatever I want, and that's pretty much what happened. That's pretty much what I did, and then yada yada yada, and getting my group home getting my GED right afterwards. I wish I would have graduated high school. I tell people that now. It's like you're gonna get your GED. That's all fine if you have to, but try to get the diploma. It just feels better. It's a better accomplishment to have a high school diploma as opposed to the GED. This is from someone with a GED. But like I said, high school back then was different. There was no metal detectors, even though right now that doesn't really matter because now the kids are doing the waiting outside with the guns instead of going inside with them, and some kids still sneak them in. Um, that's it. It's just a little light story about my experience and one of my experiences in high school with the knuckleheads in the school. Kids talking about shooting teachers, and somebody want to cut me on my birthday. How messed up is that? But anyway, this is just a little short story. My name is Scandal. Thank you for checking in to Scandal in Your Life, and you have a great day.